We also have studios in Costa Rica, which is where we started. And when I was in Africa and I was in Kenya, we met with the university, and they asked us if we could start a university animation program with them. And I said, it caught me completely by surprise, and I said, of course, my answer always tries to be yes. But I said, it was a huge thing. I said, let me come back in a couple days. Let me think about it. Let me pray about it. We'll come back in a couple days and give you an answer and bring your faculty together so we can come together. So they did. We went back, and we gave them a little presentation of what we were doing. And we said, if you commit the students to work on iBible-like animation for 2,000 hours, we will do the program. And they looked at me like they were thinking 200 hours for a degree program. We said 2,000 hours of hands-on learning, training, working. They said yes. We're starting that program. We hope to launch this year with 6 students, and so grow to 24 students learning animation. And the reason I wanted to do it is because I want these students to continue doing visual media. I want them to go work for ministries. I want them to go to the church denominations in Africa and bring visual media to the continent. Now I could go to Africa and hire affordably trained animators, but what better thing could I do than to start pouring in, investing into the next generation that's going to be here far longer than me, and to doing this. And then we started a 2-year internship program in Dallas, Texas. People were asking if they can help, and we prayed about the best way to do it, and we started it. It's a paid internship. It's not a lot of pay, but we do allow the students to raise money on top of what we pay them. We pay them it's about $2,500 a month. They get paid on salary. They work in our office. We provide the equipment, the training, and they're learning animation while they're working on iBible. We have already grown to we have 3. We have a 4th person joining us in May, and we have room for 6. And I prayed. I said, I would like to see 1 person from Christian Worldview Film Festival, a young person. You have to be 18, and you would have to be in Dallas. And if you'd like to join our internship program, but we're not teaching traditional styles of animation. We're moving to 3D animation. So we've switched as of January, so literally just 2.5 months ago. We're still in the process of switching. We're switching to Unreal Engine, and we're switching to 3D animation, which I know a lot of you are familiar with. And I really believe it's going to help iBible come to life. So we're doing it on the life of Christ. We're very excited about it. I asked them to send me some clips. They said, we don't have anything to show right now. They did send me just what they're working on. Sent me what they were working on. They've been doing this for weeks. I mean, we are so thankful. Can you imagine weeks of work? And they were all upset when I told them we're switching to 3D. These are old school 2D artists. They all threatened to quit. I wanted some of them too. Nobody did. We're training all of them in 3D. It's been a real struggle. We've been patient. They've been patient with us. But they're producing. It's so cool. So they've built everything you just saw. And we're using all the latest and greatest tools. I know some of you are familiar with this. So this is what we're doing in Africa in the university program. And this is what we're doing in Dallas with our 2-year internship program. You are learning this style of animation using Blender, Unreal Engine, Unreal Illusion, we use so many different programs. We're doing motion capture. So all our animation is being done with some of the highest quality motion capture suits. We're learning it. You know, it's very hard to get experts in this area. You kind of have to learn your own pipelines. but we're very excited about where it's coming. And another thing I was going to share is that 6 years ago when I spoke here, I challenged that you have to choose when you do media. You have to choose, are you doing it for money or for missions? You really do. I've seen people saying, well, why can't we have both? You can have both, but both cannot rule. One has to rule. Because what happens when you make a great film and then you sell it to a distributor and they lock up worldwide rights? And then I come along and I say, I would like to distribute this to our house church network in Iran. And I go, so I want Farsi. No, you can't have it. I mean, it's just not worth it to them. And we have tried and tried and tried to get some leading Christian films into the mission field, and we have had zero success, to the point where we've given up on it. And so we'd rather say, if you're going to do a film you want for missions, don't lose the right to bring it to the mission field. Don't sign those rights away. Now, if you're going to do something to earn money and earn a living, there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's a great thing to do. In fact, we've also started a for-profit studio where we're going to take everything we're learning and we're going to do 3D animation. We're working on a cartoon series with a pastor who says, look, if we're going to criticize Disney but not do our own good animation, then that's a problem, right? And I said, I agree 100%. So I'm not afraid of anything for profit. Just know that's what rules. You're doing it. So we are working on a short film on St. Nicholas. We're hoping to sell it. We're hoping it becomes a series on the saints. We're hoping it becomes multiple seasons. And so we're doing that. And someone says, well, what about the mission field? I said, we will do everything we can to bring it to the mission field, but we have to do it to support our studio. On the other hand, iBible, Pilgrim's Progress, other things we do, I know with like Torchlighters, it's mission first. So you can say no to money to support missions. And if it's the other way around, you may have to say no to missions to support money. But I'm not saying one is over the other. We do both. So literally, we started just a couple months ago with our for-profit studios called Real Studios. None of the animation has been put in, none of the facial expressions, none of that. It's just show you what we're starting to do and we're going to be doing more of in the world of animation. So that's what we're working on the other side. Again, these are just not clips we normally show. We haven't added any of the facial expressions or the animation. We're still trying to figure out the motion capture suits and figure out our animation pipelines. But here's really what excites me, and it's like God, you chose us to do this in the winter of my life. We need 20-year-olds really grasping this because we can produce fast. And we can produce, it used to be, with old school animation, the budget went nowhere but up. Right, Bill? and things took longer and longer and more expensive and longer and more expensive. And 3D was out of the question. And a lot of you already know this, but with the technology that's out today, everything is getting less expensive. Everything we do, we say, how can we do it faster? Where does AI come in? We don't use AI a lot. It's a kind of an unruly child to us. It's very hard to control and manipulate, but it does have tools that we use. And so we're using AI to do some stuff. We're using, like I said, we're using motion capture. We do facial expressions with an iPhone. We're doing lip sync. We're looking at how we do languages with auto lip sync for those languages. And we're having a lot of fun doing all this. And we think if the Bible can come alive in 3D animation, and then you realize all these assets that are 3D can be reused. So for iBible, they're all available to our partners for free. And so we have a vision to assemble the largest collection of Bible artwork, animation artwork ever assembled, because every person in the Bible, every place, every animal, every plant, every vase, every torch, everything will be available for our partners to use, and our partners around the world. And a partner is just somebody who wants to work with us. You don't have to pay for it. You don't have to sign some long attorney agreement. I don't have time for that. And so we just want to be a blessing to the church and to ministries, and as long as you're using it. And we want to be able to help churches do visual media. We may even eventually build tools to help assemble things together that are all biblically based. And of course, if you know, Real Engine works in real time, renders in real time. When we did the Pilgrim's Progress, I didn't put this on the Jeopardy. Who wants to guess how long it took us to render the animation of the Pilgrim's Progress, which was a 110-minute film? Anybody want to guess how long it took to render? 7 years. Those computers ran nonstop, 24/7 for 7 years. You know how long it took us to render these clips? It's about 10 minutes. So it's a real render. So things are getting fast. But God has given us these tools. So I want to challenge you, as I shared 6 years ago, choose ministry sometimes. Let your work just be for ministry, or volunteer on a project that you know is a ministry-based project. We are seeing stuff light up. We're anticipating 1 million Bible engagements in 90 days when we launch iBible. And we have the numbers to back it up. They're not things like, people put in a pitch deck. Yes, we're going to do 100 million at the box office. These are real numbers that we're seeing. We're anticipating 1 billion views a year when the Bible is complete, minimum. And so when people ask, when we have a Bible available right to us on the shelf, we can pull down the Bible from the shelf and read it, but people are doing it less and less. Why? I don't think you have to be real smart to answer that question. It's because we're not giving it to them in a format they can understand. It's as simple as that. I believe it's as simple as that, and that's what we're trying to prove. We just have to think a little differently. It's just time to think differently. And that's my challenge to you. Be missional in what you do. Think about how we can change things missionally. Think outside the box. And don't be afraid to jump into something really cool, even if you think you're inadequate. And hold on one second. Who answered all of the Jeopardy questions correctly? You answered them all correctly? All right. Then you get put together, by the time this weekend is over, this 1,000-piece puzzle. No. I will be available, and for today and tomorrow morning, I think I'm on a panel tomorrow. Mark will be here all week, and Andrea will be here. She's here all week, I think, and I think we have a Revelation Media Award or a scholarship or something we do. So for missional type films. Philip was praying this morning, and he said, it's funny because he said, Steve, I know you know this. He said, the scripture says, one man waters, one man plants, another waters, God has the increase. and it's a key scripture for our ministry. We believe we're planting seeds. And we're not, somebody else would come along and water. We are planting the seeds. But they have to intentionally click, I prayed for salvation today, and we have the prayer. We have at the end of the video, you can pray with us right now for salvation, and so if they want to pray, we put the salvation prayer on the screen and in their language. So that's it for me. Thank you for allowing me to share this last 57 minutes with you.